geographical indications have existed in France, which created the concept of geographical indications since the beginning of the 20th century. It is, as you know, a product with an historical origin, which is part of the local patrimony and heritage. It brings some better economic benefits to its user rights. More than 14% of the employment in agricultural production is now made dedicated to organic farming, which is an increase of 10% per year since 2012. To say that it is not only a success in France, but also it's also a successful policy of the European Union. There are around 3,200 geographical indications plus STG in the European Union, and its sales amount to around 77 billion euros in 2017. And this is once more, especially due to France geographical indications and wine products. Now, let us come to two examples which will demonstrate the interest of geographical indications for rural development. Let us start with a cheese, which is called the Comté. And this cheese is a hard-graded heated cheese, and it is made by mixing milk from various herds. It's an unpasteurized milk cheese, and it comes under the shape of cylinders, which we call in France meules, of around 40 kgs, and which need 400 to 500 liters of milk to be produced. It is stored for maturing for at least 4 months, and sometimes much longer, 2 to 3 years. The Comté has known sustained economic success for the last 20 years. Its production has increased from 30,000 tons to over 50,000 nowadays, and be it in the various forms for trading. And its impact on the regional and rural economy and development has been significant. And it also, Comté production not only has an impact on the production itself, but also on the surrounding and the whole rural development, and especially in terms of regional tourism. The professional association for Comté, the CIGC, has developed a huge range of social local promotion activities, and they dedicate to these activities 2/3 of their total budget. 5% of the farms have therefore developed an activity in tourism, and there are in the region some tasting events organized, some local trade fair named Les Comtéales, and some advertisements through various social media, websites or newsletters and so on. A touristic itinerary, La Route du Comté, has been created, and a museum has been opened, La Maison du Comté. And as a whole, all these activities bring a huge contribution to local tourism and to rural development as a whole due to this GI, which is the Comté cheese. Now let us come to a second example, the Burgundy wine, or Bourgogne wine, as we say in France, and which will illustrate the association between land, plants, and know-how of the producers. Bourgogne wine is a mixed combination and equilibrium between natural factors, climate, soil, exposition of land to sunshine, grape varieties, mainly Pinot Noir or Chardonnay, and most importantly, a local and ancient know-how. And this local and ancient know-how and these three factors have generated some very specific small areas small areas which are called terroirs in France. And these terroirs are so specific indeed that they have been recognized as part of the World Heritage by the UNESCO. And as for all geographical indications, the area of production is strictly limited. Bourgogne also proceeds from a traditional and ancient know-how, both at the stage of vine production or grape production in vineyards, at the stage of the cuve, and at the stage of the cellars for maturing. And the specificity of the Bourgogne wine production proceeds from each of these three technical steps at the vineyard, at the cuve mixing, and in the cellar. This professional know-how is essential to the unique specificity of Bourgogne wine based on ancient traditional local knowledge, which give all its quality to these wines. And this has led the producers and especially the farmers to carefully manage, maintain, and furthermore transmit to the next generation the very precious assets which are soil and water, which must be maintained for future generation. This situation keeps on increasing, and the benefits of Bourgogne wine producer keeps on increasing. As you see on this graph, the volumes of Bourgogne wine has remained stable more or less for the last 20 years. And on the other hand, the value of the production has kept on increasing very strongly since a very long time, and even when the volume were remaining stable, meaning that the prices were increasing tremendously, and which underlines the reputation and the success of Bourgogne wine, and of course, which underlines the benefits for the producers.